of all, acquire the wisdom in order to rise up to our level. And we have to drip feed this stuff because, ignorance and great wisdom do not go well together. You have to, it's like teaching about temples. You've got to know the fundamentals of what you're doing before you build a temple. Otherwise, it's just, you don't really know what you're doing. So they said, you've got to drip feed this stuff bit by bit. So drip feed something, come back to the compound, and then we'll do what we're doing. We don't know what they were doing. Unfortunately, for some strange reason that we don't know about, a small group of them said, you know what? We had a little look at Earth chicks, and they looked bloody hot, and we're going to go and hang out with them, So they did. They decided to disobey orders. They went down to the valley, and they began to teach humans, who are basically hunter-gatherers, about swordsmanship, how to do alloyed metals, guns, things like that, astronomy, mathematics, which is kind of fun, but when you don't know, when you're at a rudimentary level of civilization, that stuff can be a bit over-empowering, and people start taking on hierarchy, and they fight among themselves. So they're the troublemakers. A small group of watchers became the little troublemakers, and if you read the story, the original story, and it's now published, it talks about how the other watchers said, bugger it, I thought we had control over these people, and the Lords of Anu had a little conversation with Uriel and Gabriel and Michael, and they said, listen, these people are running amok down on Earth. They're procreating with human women, and they're giving offspring to some really stupid people called Nephilim, which means the children of Orion. The Nephilim are the real problem, because when they begat children of two different DNAs, these people, they looked like normal infants when they first were growing up. They were playing with human children, but after a couple of years, things went very, very wrong. They went completely AWOL in their head, and they were eating each other, they were eating people for sport, they were fighting for sport, they went completely crazy, and they were overpopulating the earth like crazy. So there was a big meeting between the Lords of Anu and the Watchers, and they said, listen, we've got to get control of this. Humans are not going to survive. These Nephilim have an upper hand because, first of all, they're 10 feet tall. So that's not going to work out pretty well. And the Watchers said, all right, we'll take care of it. We'll go and round up the ringleaders, and we're going to put them in a dark pit full of magma and hang him upside down for eternity, which is actually what they did. And after a while, they went back to the Lords of Anu, and they said, you know what? There's not enough of us left to control what's going on. It's out of our control. The more Nephilim that we round up, the more renegade Watchers that we pick up, the more manpower we need. We just cannot keep control of this. And there's this agonizing moment in the story. There's a silence where the Lords of Anu are thinking, we're just going to have to wipe out, walk the ring of fire. Actually, we're gonna bless you.
Wait.
Yeah, we're gonna bless you.
Cliffhanger.
Backsheesh. So there's an agonizing moment where the Lords of Anu are saying, we're going to have to wipe out the earth. Humans are not going to survive, and we're going to send an emissary to the most intelligent people of these groups on earth to tell them to build a big boat, to put as much of everything, of animals and seeds in this boat, so that when the flood subsides, they will rebuild civilization. Each boat will have 7 apkallu, in other words, 7 sages in them. They're to be the wisdom keepers that will tell people, humans, what to do and how to rebuild civilization. So, and what we're going to do to instigate this flood, we're going to call on our astronomers to look at the sky and figure out what's happening up in the sky. And the astrologers got together and said, well, actually, the Earth is going to be passing through a belt of debris at this exact moment, exactly 200 years from now. So the Lords of Anu said, there are things that even we have never told the Watchers, and with our power, with our intent, we are going to make sure that the big chunks of rock in this meteor stream are going to be moved, and they will hit the Earth to generate a global flood. And the bit afterward, I mean, it's like, I'm reading this, I'm going, oh God, it's so well. You can feel the anxiety in these people. It's like that we had no choice. If we had not destroyed the Earth, humans would have been dead. So we saved whoever we could. We put them on boats, and we gave them a few sages that would help them, regather the accoutrements of civilization in order to rebuild the human race. Well, what happens after the flood? Exactly around 8,500 BC, which is within 700 years of the flood, humans magically around the world rediscover civilization and agriculture and metallurgy and mathematics all at the same time. I mean, are we all having the same vision, or was it induced? Yeah, we had help. And after that, after we established settlements around the world, pockets of civilization, the Watchers and the Anu, boom, disappeared, vanished back where they came from. And they said, well, now we're going to have to let people figure out their own path. We'll let humans figure out that they can do what we can do, and then we'll come back at the end to see how things are working out. Well, this is where we are right now. Because now we're talking about the second coming, and the coming of the gods, and the prophecies are coming together. Yeah, we are circled by all of these people, whether in physical or non-physical form, and they're looking down on Earth going, well, we're all here now, let's see how they figured out. Did they learn from our mistakes? Well, without giving away too much of the ending of the book,
Well, we should, before the second coming of
the tyrant.
we're going to need to leave, or they're going to try to destroy us. I'm sure he went, I'm not kidding, I'm sure he went to call the ranger. So we got to make a move. We got to get out of here now. That's about the end. Sorry guys, but
I'm so glad you reported
you know how
that.
it works.
That was
But
incredible.
we got the
So
clue.
basically, we've done technology now and experiments with human intent, where we can show that a group of people, 20 people in a room, have altered the actual drumbeat of a computer. So we can do that with our intent.
Yeah.
And if we can program rocks to build a temple with intent,
Yes.
the theory is, if we are told that between 2032 and 2042, which we know there's a lot of shit coming this way every November, which is the Taurine meteor shower, which is the big problem for us, we're going to be faced with the same problem. Rocks are coming towards us. What do we do about it? Well, knowing what we do with the fact that 1% of humanity focusing on one object can move it out of the way, that's our way out. There is an antidote. So before, 11,000 years ago, the gods had to move the rocks towards us. Now we'll have the chance to move the rocks away and restart.
Wow.
It's just a theory.
Wow.
But
That's the most
but
incredible.
the evidence is there, and NASA is actually agreeing with this. I've got all of their information on the last chapter. Yeah.
So
But